Well, joining us now from the Qatari capital is Mohammed Al-Masri. He's a professor of media studies at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. Really good to have you back with us, Professor. Donald Trump has warned that US attacks could escalate sharply if Iran blocks oil exports through the Strait of Hormuz. How is that being reported and perceived in both Iranian state and social media?
Well, I mean, this is just going to harden the Iranian position, as many other analysts have noted. This is a fight for survival for the Iranian regime, and they're actually more likely now to not want a ceasefire, to want to sort of escalate, even by keeping the Strait of Hormuz shut, and also continuing their attacks on Gulf countries, because they need to ensure that there isn't another attack on Iran once this war is over. They have to make sure that it's painful enough from their perspective, painful enough for all of the actors, the direct actors and the indirect actors, to sort of prevent the possibility of another war. The fear in Iran actually is that there would be a quick ceasefire, an end to the war that might be perceived as weakness on the part of the Iranians, and that it would just be a matter of time before the Americans and Israelis regroup. So they want to make sure that there is no more thought, at least not in the short term, to attacking Iran again.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it will determine when this war ends. Do you believe that to be the case? Does Iran really have the leverage here?
Well, certainly the longer this goes on, I do think it plays into Iran's hands, because the stated goals of the Americans and the Israelis were very lofty. They wanted to change the regime, eliminate the regime, and end the ballistic missile program. So there were very lofty objectives. And the longer this war goes on, the clearer it becomes, obviously, that the Iranians have survived and, in a sense, won. So time does not play into Donald Trump's hands. I think things have gone off the rails from his perspective. It's really been a spectacular failure to this point. Oil prices have almost doubled. Americans are not happy about this war. It's actually one of the more unpopular wars in modern American history, if not the most unpopular war. He's possibly jeopardizing the midterm elections for the Republicans, and he's hardening the Iranian position and also alienating Gulf allies. So it's been a failure to this point. I think Donald Trump is looking for an off-ramp. That is my interpretation of the comments that he made yesterday in Florida. But I don't think that the war is going to end anytime soon, in particular because, as I said, I don't think Iran is particularly eager at this point to end the war.
We know that the appointment of Mojtaba Khamenei as the new supreme leader appears to have strengthened hardliners. And in recent months, we did see a challenge to clerical rule from thousands of Iranians who took to the streets in December and January of this year. What do you think is the future of clerical rule at this stage? Does this war inadvertently strengthen that regime?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was speaking to. I think that the Iranian response to Trump's declaration that he wanted to have a say in Iran's next leader, and that Mujtaba Khamenei would be an unacceptable choice, I think Iran's response tells us everything that we need to know. They rejected Trump's statements. They rejected Trump's position on that, and they did this, I think, in part to sort of spite him and to send a message that only Iranians and only the Iranian regime would be in control of Iran's leadership and internal politics. So it is a signal that they are hardening their position. I think that there was an opening potentially if the United States had pursued a negotiated path, a negotiated settlement. There was the potential to bring in a kind of more moderate, pragmatic leadership. But I think those hopes and aspirations are probably dead now, because, as I said, the writing is on the wall from the Iranian perspective. The Americans and the Israelis are not to be trusted. The negotiation process is worthless, and it's always just a matter of time before the Israelis and the Americans will seek to attack again. So it's actually, from the Iranian perspective, better to have a hardened position. And I think also, unfortunately, I'm not a supporter of nuclear weapons for anybody, not for Israel or the United States or anybody. But I think, unfortunately, this almost guarantees that Iran is going to end up with a nuclear weapon when the dust settles, because that's the only real deterrence, I think, to Israeli and American aggression.
Meantime, we're seeing Israeli forces intensify their attacks on Hezbollah positions in Lebanon, both in Beirut and in the south of the country. Do you see that being the new focus for Israelis?
Well, I think it's one of many focuses for the Israelis. The Israelis have not let up. In Gaza, they're fighting wars on multiple fronts. Gaza, the West Bank, obviously Iran, Lebanon. They've even behaved with aggression and hostility towards Syria, a government there that is in transition and doesn't pose any threat at all to Israel. I think that the likely scenario at this point is that the Americans will exit this Iran war sooner than later. I don't think the Israelis will have an appetite for fighting Iran alone, and then they will turn more of their attention, let's say, to Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Okay, Professor Mohammed Al-Mazari, we'll leave it there for now. Great to get your thoughts as always. Thank you.